Hello there. Welcome to Just the Disc. We talk about Blu-rays here. As you can see, if you're watching this, I am in a new space, and that is my apartment in Los Angeles, and it's been a minute since I've recorded a video, but I was just trying to get myself all set up here before I started again, but definitely excited to talk about physical media continually, and happy to be in this new space. And anyway, enough of the personal stuff. I didn't even know where to start. I've got so much stuff to talk about, so many videos to do, that I didn't know where to start. So what sort of triggered this video was an announcement made by Indicator today, as of the day of this recording. They announced their new titles for the month of, June. And one of the titles they announced is a pretty big one, and that is Carnal Knowledge. Mike Nichols' film, Carnal Knowledge, written by Jules Pfeiffer and starring Jack Nicholson, Candice Bergen, Art Garfunkel, and Margaret as well. A very unique film in Mike Nichols' filmography, and one that I've always found a little challenging but really fascinating. But it is a classic in and of itself, and a movie that, it's just got this 4K UHD announcement from Indicator, a apparently definitive 4K HDR restoration of the 1971 American classic. And I'm just really excited about it. I actually bought a German import of this late last year because I didn't know when it would be coming, if at all. So, nice to see this announced. You're welcome for me buying that other disc that obviously triggered this. I'm kidding. But it's a big deal. This is a Criterion level title that they could have easily announced, and Indicator got it. And I'm happy about that, because Indicator is truly one of my favorite labels out there, and they always do a wonderful job with their releases, and this one looks fantastic. So that was the thing where I was like, okay, I want to talk about that, and the fact that this is like a huge announcement, and there's some cool stuff included. Mike Nichols and Jason Reitman in conversation from 2011 at the Walter Reed Theater in New York, talking about this movie after it screened, as well as some other stuff that's pretty neat. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that release. I'm very excited. But I wanted to go through a bunch of classic film releases, and it's a bunch of stuff they've put out recently, and I haven't had a chance to talk about them, and I wanted to get into it. So we'll start with, I don't think I've talked about this yet, but if I have, I'm happy to talk about it again, because Sahara is one of my favorite Bogart films. It's Zoltan Korda's film from 1943. One of my favorite Bogart performances, one of my favorite war movies. Just a great, great movie that is getting its first Blu-ray release from Indicator. Granted, it's a Region B lock disc. Maybe we'll see one from like Kino or something in the States, but that has not been announced yet, and I'm really a fan of this disc. So this is from back in January, and I'm going to catch you up on some classic film stuff they've been announcing, which is one of the reasons I love Indicators, because they have such a variety and are obviously just driven by a love of cinema of all, periods, and I just adore that. I really do. So this one's, the summation is separated from his unit following the fall of Tobruk. Master Sergeant Joe Gunn, that's Bogart, and his crew flee in a tank across the Sahara, picking up a variety of stragglers and prisoners along the way. With their survival entirely dependent on water from a depleted well, the group must defend it against a whole German battalion. It's such a great story and such a great setup, and is surprisingly emotional by the end, and it gets me every time. It was shot under harsh conditions in the unforgivable landscape of the Colorado Desert, standing in for the Sahara. It utilized an entire U.S. Army division as extras, adding to the film's gritty sense of realism. It is really something special, and a movie I've been waiting for a long time to get a nice Blu-ray, and this is nice. It's not a restoration, which is, too bad, but it's got a lot of nice extras, including an audio commentary with screenwriter novelist C. Courtney Joyner, and in-depth appreciation and Building a Tank, 1942 documentary short on the work of the Detroit Tank Arsenal and the manufacturing of the M3 Lee tank, which is prominently featured in the film. The Siege of Tobruk, which is another 42 documentary short produced by the UK's Army Film Unit, detailing World War II, the military campaign in North African port of Tobruk, to kind of give you some history. And there's more stuff. There's obviously a limited booklet included, 40-page booklet with a new essay by Imogen Sarah Smith, who I adore as a film person, on an archival and also an archival on-set profile of Humphrey Bogart, an archival interview with actors Kurt Kruger, and a look at the film's promotion assisted, how the film's promotion assisted the war effort, as well as new writing. So, really great release. Definitely one of my favorites of 2025 so far already. Will definitely be on my favorites of the year list. Moving on from that, we have kind of a noir thriller from 1959 called Edge of Eternity. And this one is starring Cornel Wilde as the big one, Mickey Shaughnessy, you might know, Edgar Buchanan, you might also know. But obviously, as depicted on the front, it features a very harrowing sequence on one of those elevated, I forget what you even call those things, that transport you across chasms and stuff. Cornel Wilde, Victoria Shaw, and Mickey Shaughnessy star in Edge of Eternity, a riveting murder mystery from director Don Siegel. This is, of course, a Don Siegel movie. And I'm a big fan of Siegel, and this is an under-discussed film from him. Obviously he did Madigan, Charlie Varick, Dirty Harry, so many good films. When a series of killings plagues an Arizona ghost town on the edge of the Grand Canyon, Deputy Sheriff Martin, that's Cornel Wilde, forms an unlikely partnership with Playgirl Janice, that's Shaw, to investigate. And it was, of course, made on locations and shot in CinemaScope by the great Burnett Guffey, who also shot The Sniper and The Reckless Moment. And it's one of Don Siegel's most arresting and thrilling crime films. This has an audio commentary by professor and film scholar Jason A. Nye. Into the Canyon, a 17-minute interview with writer and academic Jose Arroyo discussing Edge of Eternity in the context of Siegel's career overall. Closer to the Edge, which is a 30-minute in-depth analysis by Jose Arroyo as well. So you get both a contextual analysis and an in-depth. An Australian Cinderella, which is a new 17-minute interview with academic Stephen Morgan discussing the life and career of Australian actor and Colombian contract player Victoria Shaw, who I'm very curious about, who I don't know that well. And this has an limited exclusive 36-page booklet with a new essay by Peter Cowie, archival piece on the making of the film by producer Kendrick Sweet, and an extract from Don Siegel's autobiography and film credits. And it's a UK Blu-ray premiere. I think Sahara is worldwide Blu-ray premiere. Pretty sure that's the first time that's ever gotten. So I guess maybe this has gotten a release stateside, but I don't know. I love everything that's included here, so I'm very excited. This is Region B locked, but very cool to get another Don Siegel always in my mind. Next up, I have some Joan Crawford movies. One I've always wanted to see, and the other I don't even really know. Queen Bee is from 1955 and is one that's been on my radar for quite some time. I remember an old Sony DVD of this, and this one is a worldwide premiere on Blu-ray. It is Region B locked, however. But this one's a domineering socialite Eva Crawford and her alcoholic husband Avery, that's Barry Sullivan, are trapped in a hostile and loveless marriage. When Eva's cousin Jennifer, Lucy Marlowe from A Star is Born, comes to stay, she is sucked into a dangerous whirlwind of lies and vengeance. Reuniting Crawford with Mildred Pierce screenwriter Ronald McDougall, and featuring cinematography by the great Charles Lang, Queen Bee is a riveting slice of Southern Gothic. So this sounds fascinating to me. Sounds like a sweet spot for Joan Crawford, and is one that's been on, again, my radar for a long time. Audio commentary with Little Light Lies editor David Jenkins. A Sting in the Tail, a new 19-minute interview with academic and film historian Liz Lankman discussing the making of this film and its place within the filmography of Joan Crawford. Fit for a Queen, a 24-minute new interview with film historian and curator Natalie Morris, exploring the career of iconic Hollywood costume designer Jean Lewis, with a special focus on his work at Columbia Pictures from 1944 to 1960. That's a cool little niche thing that I love that Indicator does. Like, I wouldn't have thought to have that kind of profile, but I'm sure the costumes in this are stunning, and so it makes sense. Limited edition 32-page booklet with new essay by, again, Imogen Sarah Smith, yay, and an account of the film's production featuring archival interviews with Joan Crawford herself and an overall overview of critical responses. So yeah, world premiere, Region B, 1955, Queen Bee. Kind of hope that's a discovery for me this year. Then we have one more Joan Crawford movie. We have Harriet Craig, and this is from 1950. So a little newer, but definitely one that I have been curious about. It's a Vincent Sherman film, and from the director Vincent Sherman comes the classic drama Harriet Craig, starring Joan Crawford and Wendell Corey. Manipulative and possessive Harriet Crawford controls every aspect of the lives of her husband Walter, that's Corey, and cousin Claire, K.T. Stevens from Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, and schemes to destroy their chances of happiness. However, when they become aware of her treachery, her world begins to fall apart. And I do kind of enjoy those kind of performances from Joan Crawford as well. So definitely curious about this one. Audio commentary with critics and writers Glenn Kenny and Farron Smith-Neme. A great duo. I've talked about them here before. I always enjoy their commentaries. Very knowledgeable duo. Incredible depth in terms of their knowledge of classic cinema and cinema in general. A World of Control, a new 19-minute interview with academic and film historian Liz Lankman, again discussing the making of the film and its place in Joan Crawford's career. The Campbell Playhouse, Craig's Wife, 1940, 44 minutes radio play adaptation of George Kelly's 1925 play starring Orson Welles and Anne Harding, as well as the Lux Theater, Craig's Wife from 1941, 51 minutes subsequent radio adaptation of the play starring Rosalind Russell, Herbert Marshall, and Beulah Bondi. Very interesting casting in both cases. Limited edition 32-page booklet with new essay by Pamela Hutchinson and an account of the film's making featuring archival interviews with Joan Crawford and others, and an overview of critical responses. This is a worldwide Blu-ray premiere, and it is also Region B locked. So good stuff. Good month February was for Joan Crawford fans. Next up, we have Peter Ibbotson. And this one is from 1935, and it stars, as you can see, Gary Cooper and Anna Harding playing star-crossed lovers in an otherworldly fantasy romance from celebrated director Henry Hathaway, who will come up again just in a minute. This one, decades after they were separated, architect Peter Ibbotson Cooper and his childhood sweetheart Harding, Mary, reconnected when her husband hires Ibbotson to design a building. The relationship between the pair is rekindled until Ibbotson accidentally kills a man in self-defense and is sent to prison. Soon he is visited by Mary in his dreams. A favorite of the surrealists, including André Breton and Louis Buñuel, Peter Ibbotson boasts stunning photography from the great Charles Lang, who also shot The Big Heat, again mentioning him, and acting support from John Halliday and Ida Lupino, who I love. I'm actually going to see a movie of hers tonight at the American Cinematheque in Los Angeles, a movie called Roadhouse, which has also already come out on Blu-ray and is a great noir. Anyway, that's a minor digression, but the point being is this one sounds very interesting to me, and I'm a fan of Cooper's melodramas, and the idea of him being in a surreal film is entertaining to me. Audio commentary with film historian Adrian Martin included here, and Together in Dreams, a new 18-minute interview with author and programmer Jeff Andrews, and him discussing the film and its stars. The Campbell Playhouse, Peter Ibbotson adaptation from 1939, radio play, 54 minutes. George du Maurier's 1891 novel starring Orson Welles, Helen Hayes, and Agnes Moorehead. This also includes a limited 36-page booklet with a new essay by Frank Krutnick, an archival profile on Ida Lupino, and an archival interview with Henry Hathaway himself. UK Blu-ray premiere here, Region B locked. So I guess maybe Kino put that one out. I don't remember that. And then we have another Henry Hathaway movie here. We have Shepherd of the Hills, which is from 1941. And it is another one that... in this case, he's directing John Wayne, Betty Field, Harry Carey, Beulah Bondi, 1941 melodrama. This feels weirdly like a John Ford movie to me. I don't know why I'm associating it with John Ford, maybe because of the John Wayne of it. I don't know. But anyway, so this one, when Daniel Howitt, that's Carey, a kindly stranger, arrives in an Ozark community, riven by hatred, he befriends young Sammy, that is Betty Field, and raises the ire of her fiance, Matt, that's John Wayne, a bitter moonshiner who is sworn to kill his own father. Very interesting early role for John Wayne. Based on the best-selling novel by Harold Bell Wright and boasting ravishing cinematography by Charles Lang yet again. And they mentioned The Long Gray Line, which is, of course, a John Ford film that I like. I was part of that Indicator John Ford box set, actually, which is, of course, why they're mentioning. W. Hard Green, The Magnificent Seven, and Henry Hathaway's version of the Shepherd of the Hills was the third of no fewer than 4 big screen adaptations and was Wayne's first film in Technicolor. Did not know that. Also did not know this film had been adapted so many times, and I've seen no versions of it, so that is fascinating to me when source material is returned to again and again by Hollywood, and clearly kind of popular in its time, despite having disappeared a bit. Audio commentary with academic and curator Eloise Ross, that's new, and Return of the Exile 2017, 34-minute archival appreciation by filmmaker and critic Bertrand Tavernier, which is cool, presented with English subtitles for the first time. So that's a nice, those are the main 2 extras here, but they're pretty good, I think. Limited edition 40-page booklet with a new essay by Rick Burren, and an archival report on the film's production and its source novel's Ozark setting, an extract from an interview with Henry Hathaway, an overview of contemporary critical responses, and film credits. This is a UK Blu-ray premiere, and it is Region B locked. Okay, so next we have a couple more Gary Cooper movies. This is interesting to me. So we'll start with Lives of a Bengal Lancer, and this one's from 1935, another Henry Hathaway movie. I do like Hathaway, by the way, a lot. I think he's a very interesting Hollywood guy who, in my mind, doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. I think he, I don't know, I feel like he's been a bit forgotten in the time of Howard Hawks and John Ford, and he's just a good journeyman that did some interesting films, and I'm a fan of his work. So I just love that, obviously, the folks at Indicator are fans too, so they're putting a little emphasis on his stuff in this particular round of titles, and I do love that. So that's very cool. So anyway, this is starring Gary Cooper, Francho Tone, Richard Cromwell. When Lieutenant McGregor, that's Cooper, welcomes Officers Forsyth, that's Francho Tone, and Stone, that's Cromwell, to a remote outpost on the northwest frontier of the British Raj. They face overwhelming odds as they battle a local insurgency. A high point in the diverse and celebrated career of prolific filmmaker Henry Hathaway, and featuring stunning photography by Charles Lang yet again. Lives of Bengal Lancer was nominated for 70 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. This is a 4K restoration. Includes an audio commentary with screenwriter and novelist C. Courtney Joyner and filmmaker Steve Latshaw. Service and Sacrifice, a new 27-minute critical appreciation by the academic and film historian Sheldon Hall, as well as a Lux Theater Lives of Bengal Lancer 1939, 54-minute radio adaptation of the film's screenplay with Errol Flynn. I've got documentaries on the brain, I'm sorry. Brian Ahern and Jackie Cooper alongside the original cast members C. Aubrey Smith and Douglas Dumbrell. Limited edition 40-page booklet with a new essay by Sam Wigley, an archival production report, and an extract from an archival interview with Henry Hathaway, an overview of contemporary critical responses and film credits. Region B locked, and a UK Blu-ray premiere. And lastly, we have one more Gary Cooper, and this one is called Now and Forever, also Henry Hathaway. Again, I love this emphasis on him from Indicator. This one is from 1934, so we're kind of moving back in time with his stuff. Gary Cooper, Carol Lombard, and Shirley Temple star in Now and Forever, a heartwarming tale which combines elements of screwball comedy, melodrama, and social commentary. Jerry, that's Gary Cooper, and Tony, that's Lombard, are a pair of small-time crooks who are swindling their way around the world. When they meet Jerry's estranged daughter, Penny, they resolve to go straight, that of course is Shirley Temple, and secure her future, but find that the making an honest living isn't easy. Directed by Henry Hathaway, the Great, and the acting support of Charlotte Granville. Yeah, Now and Forever features an impressive turns by its leads and elevated the young Shirley Temple to superstardom. Audio commentary with film historian Pamela Hutchinson. Bright as a Penny, a new 16-minute interview with writer and critic Christina Newland examines the career of Now and Forever's young rising star Shirley Temple. And this, of course, also has a 36-page limited booklet with a new essay by Natalie Morris, an archival behind-the-scenes account by Henry Hathaway, archival newspaper reports on Shirley Temple, and an archival interview with Henry Hathaway as well. UK premiere, Region B locked. So that will do it for this round of Indicator titles. I hope to have more to talk about. Like, those new announcements sound great. They've always got good stuff coming. Check out powerhousefilms.co.uk to keep track of that stuff. Also, follow them on socials. They are always worth finding out about new stuff from. So big ups to Indicator for more classic film titles. I couldn't be happier about it. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye.